Hello out there, Caniac Nation. Thanks for joining us for session 40, almost equivalent to my age, but not quite, of Caniac Sessions. I'm Griff,
I may be.
and today we've got a nice little session, some things to talk about. We are going to recap games 3 and 4 of the first round series against the New York Islanders, talk about some storylines surrounding the team and this series, and then preview game 5 coming back to PNC Arena tomorrow night as of recording. Today is Monday, April 29th. Game 5 is Tuesday night, April 30th, 7:30 puck drop at PNC Arena. We will preview that game and then get you ready to watch it, maybe in person or maybe on the TV, but wherever you watch it at, cheer loud for this team to close out this series and move on. Right? We know who our opponent's going to be in round 2 if and when we get there, as the New York Rangers completed their sweep of the Washington Capitals last night. So we know who that's going to be. We know what's in front of us. So let's close this out and get on to the Rangers. AB, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. You talked about this earlier. I cannot stand the 2-day damn breaks in
Oh,
between the playoff
brutal.
games because there's only so much hockey you can watch,
Oh, I
and
know.
especially with players and fans, like I'm like stirring, like
Yeah,
and like the
it's
game of like I'm like fidgeting. I'm so damn nervous,
it's
ready for everything
maddening.
to go.
It is. We had to take a 2-day break when we wrapped up the game 2 before we started game 3 on Long Island, and then now another 2-day break. And I don't really remember. I mean, I've tried to think back the other day, and I don't really remember like so much time off in a series in recent memory. Do you? I don't.
I thought it was like 1 day. I feel like last year was just a day in between.
Right, it was for the most part, but I'm just thinking like years past. I don't remember ever getting. I mean, there might be a 2-day break somewhere, but to have two in one series, like within the
I
same
would
week.
ex I would expect that in, like, the Eastern Conference Finals, but, like, in the first round, I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I'm just ready to get this. I want to get this series over with.
yeah.
New York, the Islanders are hanging around, and I mean, well, are they hanging around? I don't know. It's 3-1 right now, but
Yeah.
I just want to close it out because, and we'll talk about it. We'll get there
Mhm.
on why I think we need to just get on and to the second round. But before we start going here, AB, first things first, we want to say hi to all our YouTube viewers. Hi. I'm glad that you.
Ignore the armband. I just
Uh oh.
came back from the doctor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get a shot?
No, the Islanders fans infected me, and so I had to get it out.
That's fair. That's good. Good. All right. Anyway, hi to all our YouTube viewers. Hi to everyone listening on our normal podcast format. Um, we are brought to you by DraftKings as a member of THPN. That's the Hockey Podcast Network. If you want to, and you should, download DraftKings Sportsbook if you're not already. Use promo code THPN when you do and score some bonus bets. We are also promotional partners with SeatGeek. First time ticket purchasers can download, well, you can't download SeatGeek, unfortunately, AB, but you can go to their website and you can create an account. Use promo code Caniac Sessions. That's one word, no space between Caniac and Sessions, and get $20 off your first ticket purchase. So if you want to go to game 5 and you have not purchased tickets and you do not have a SeatGeek account, do it.
Do it.
All right. That's that. Let's get going, AB. So as we sit here today on April 29th, Carolina is up in this series 3-1. We've played 4. We've played 2 in Raleigh and 2 on the island. Uh, Start us off with game 3 here, AB. Just walk us through a nice little recap of that before we get into the details.
Well, I think you said game 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Obviously, game 3, you knew that they were gonna come out hungry, and there was a goalie change. Varlamov play his overall best. Blew the lead in game 2 and game 1. The Canes got the win. So game 3, Sorokin started and Patrick Waugh came out with the quote. And
Yeah,
I think it said like we've been playing the Cadillac for 2 games. We're bringing out the Ferrari.
that's exactly.
Well,
Yeah, a little paraphrase there, but pretty much yes.
so that didn't happen. The Hurricanes won 3-2. Brent Burns and Dmitry Orlov scored in the first 2-0. Then Pierre Engvall scored to make it within 2-1. And then Aho would score again midway through the second, making it 3-1, causing Patrick Waugh to put the Ferrari back in the garage and bring out the Cadillac.
Flat tire.
Um, and then Brock Nelson would score toward the end of the second to get within 1. Um, but that was pretty much everything that happened, and the Hurricanes won, and they now at that time were leading the series 3-0, but face-offs were not there, but still managed to get the win.
Yeah, this is something we'll dive into a little bit more later. The face-off, the face-off battle in the series. We'll talk more about later, but yeah, I think I don't know if Carolina played their best game in Game 3. It was enough. It was enough to get the win. But you know what? To be honest, any road win, especially in the playoffs, who's to say that they weren't playing their best? I mean, you get the win on the road. That'll do. That's good enough, right? So, I think that this being the first game without Pesci in the playoffs, right? He suffered his injury in Game 2. So there's a little bit of unknown, right? A little bit of uneasy feelings coming into this game as far as, the defensive pair with Brady Shea and Tony DeAngelo. A lot of conversation, we'll call it, surrounding that. Some people think, Scott Morrow should get a shot. No Tony at all costs. No Tony, whatever. And that's something else I want to talk about later, but I'm going to brush over it right now and save it for later. But I thought when we went to Long Island that we would come back split. I thought we'd split the 2 games up here originally. I never thought this would be a sweep.
Yeah.
But after we won Game 3, I was like, they could win Game 4. I mean, they really could. Like I thought. And then after that happened and we started getting closer to Game 4, I was like, you know what? I think this will be a sweep. That wouldn't happen. And they did split on Long Island to come back to Raleigh. But speaking of that Game 4, AB, give us a little bit of the highlights from that game.
So the Islanders were pissed. They went back to the Cadillac, and that's what I'm going to call them the rest of the series. I don't care. And Jarvis opened up the scoring on the power play off of a rebound. Nice little snipe, top left. Go up 1-0. Barzell would score in the second, tying it, and then Pajot would score on the power play to open the third. And then Stefan Nason, the grown man that he is, tied it up on the power play. And then the game ended, OT, and Carolina looked like they were pretty much going to win the game. And KK, oh my goodness, wide freaking open net. He just got it just a little bit lower. Would have been fine, but shot it, hit the knob of Varlamov's stick, and went into the crowd. And I saw him. He just literally just looked up at the ceiling because that's one you should have had. And then second overtime, Barzell tipped in a shot from Bortuzzo in the second overtime early with the net front battle, and that would keep them alive in the series. However, like you said, splitting any game winning on the road is a win. If you win on the road, that's great. You can't lose at home. And that's what they did. So I mean, their back's still up against the wall, and it took them 2 overtimes to beat us.
Yep.
And once I remember watching it, and then once I saw it, I was just kind of like, man, and I was like, well, we're up 3-1, so I'm not really worried about it. And plus, they got to come back here.
That's right. Yeah, essentially Carolina has 3 games to win 1. And if you go back and look, throughout the regular season, what's the day we always talk about, AB?
I don't know.
The turning point of our season. What day
Oh,
is
the
that?
turning point. Yep.
Yeah, December 12th, 2023, in Ottawa. Since that day, this team has not lost back-to-back games in regulation.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple where we've lost back-to-back, but it was like an overtime loss or a shootout loss or something like that. This team just does not win, this team just doesn't lose consecutive games.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel very confident that we will get the Game 5 win.
Mm-hmm.
As long as, they take care of business. I mean, they've got to come out and play. We haven't seen them put together a full, complete effort yet in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs. There's and some of that is, the Islanders aren't a bad team. They're not the
Mm-hmm.
Capitals, right? They came into the playoffs on a heater, and they are a gritty, defensively minded, good, defensively structured team. Maybe not as good as they were last year or, within the last 5 years, but they're still a good team, and they have some high end players. So the fact that we are up 3-1 is, I won't say we're lucky, but we're fortunate, especially, with the way that we played and the fact that we have not put together a complete, quote unquote Carolina Hurricanes game. So won't say we're lucky, but we are fortunate because this series could, I mean, to be honest, it could be 3-1 the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the games we've played, game 1, we could have easily lost that game. Game 2, what if we didn't complete the comeback? Game 3, what if we wouldn't have got a bounce on the road? I just don't. I mean, we could be on the other side of this series right now, but we're not. A lot of that is speaking to our depth and our structure, and the fact that we can just outlast teams. I think we've got a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more stamina than the Islanders do. But I'll save the rest of this conversation for a little bit later. I will say quickly, Seth Jarvis, grown ass man.
That's right.
Great game in Game 4 for Jarvis. Got the power play rebound to score to go up 1-0, and man, Steph Nason has just. I mean, Jarvis and Nason have been two of the. I won't say the best players. Well, Jarvis, I think, has been the best player on the ice for us, given
Mm-hmm.
the full workload, 4 games. But man, Steph Nason is showing us again why he is one of the MVPs on this team in relation to his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow. Anyway, moving on. Any last thoughts on that game?
No, I mean, and we'll probably talk about the face-offs here in a little bit,
Yeah,
compared to the ones at home versus the ones on the road. But yeah,
we were a stick knob away from sweeping the Islanders. AB,
yep.
a stick knob.
They were having flashbacks of last year.
Yeah. All right. So before we preview Game 5, a couple things I want to talk about, and you alluded to this. First are the face-offs. And I went back and I just, I looked at all of the team stats in the face-off circle, over all 4 games. And one thing really stood out to me. And that is how dominant we were on the face-off dot in Raleigh and how dominant they were in the circle on the island.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look here, in Game 1, it was 59-41 in Carolina's favor. Game
Mm-hmm.
2 was the exact same, 59-41 in Carolina's favor.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back and it totally flips on its head, 40-60 New York in game 3, and then an abysmal 32% to 68% in game 4. And that's not even that's not even telling how bad it was, because Carolina won a lot of faceoffs in the third period, um, to bring our percentage up to 32. What's
Mhm.
your thoughts on the faceoff, and why is it so different depending upon where we play?
Probably the crowd, but like there wasn't really. I saw a bunch of stuff on X about how their ticket prices for. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted.
Yeah, sorry about that. I
Uh,
had to pause and take a phone call.
um, I don't know. I mean, it just. I was talking about the tickets. I was talking about noise, but like I saw some of the Islanders tickets. Like there were a lot of seats available during those games. So
Yeah.
obviously, it doesn't matter if it's like sold out. It was still loud. Um, But I think it comes back to one of those things, home ice advantage, and they're playing with drive now because I mean it's a very big margin going from 40 to 60 to 32 to 68. And I think also that's adrenaline, knowing that you may get sent home on home ice. But I know that Rod talked to his guys after the game and they're doing repetition, they're doing some practices, and I hope one of them is face off drills because you have a coach who made a ton of wins in the faceoff circle for his whole career. So I don't know. I maybe adrenaline. I would probably think it'd be adrenaline, especially with the home crowd atmosphere. But I mean, yeah, even though we won game 3, I mean that's still a pretty bad margin.
Yeah.
It felt like when we were in Raleigh, we were losing faceoffs like on the power play, like in
Right.
our
Key
zone.
moments. Yeah. Key
So
moments.
they got to work on that. But other than that, I'm not really looking too far into it. I mean, it's only game 5 coming up, and we're up 3 games to 1. So I'm
Right.
not too worried about it. If it happens in game 5, then it's going to be an issue.
Yeah. I saw, so there's a listener that we have, and her, on X, her name is Erin Manning Writes, right? Have you seen her before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has some really good takes sometimes. Um, huh?
sometimes
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just, I think, I enjoy
we
reading her
have
stuff,
great
and
takes.
I'm just saying I saw something that she posted, that was interesting to me about, you know, the wingers on the face-off,
Mhm.
and how they were like, something she noticed was that the wingers were winning some of those battles, to
The
get to
face-off
the puck.
circle.
Yeah, like on the face-off, right? Like if the face-off's not won cleanly, then who gains possession of the puck. You know, do the wingers anticipate a loss and go one way or whatever, however that works. And she thought that maybe a lot of those battles were being lost and they were gaining possession, which may be the case. I don't know. Um, I just thought that was interesting. You can go back and read it. I'm sure it's still there. Maybe
Mhm.
that has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. I just know that, when we get back to Raleigh, we need to at least tie them in the faceoff circle, right? We don't need to lose that battle. Um, and it's just funny, like we still ended up with 2 power play goals in game 4, and we got demolished in the faceoff circle. So it's like, is it really that big of a deal? Maybe not. Um, but maybe the Islanders don't score. I know what was their second goal, or was it maybe it was the overtime winner. One of them, I noticed that we lost the faceoff and it set up the goal. If we would have won that faceoff, then maybe that wouldn't have happened. So, key moments in games, power plays, penalty kills, you want to win the faceoff. If you're not, then bad things are going to happen. And
Mhm.
we saw that. And it's not going to hurt you every time, but when it does hurt you, that's when you want to have them. So
Yeah, there's really no need to panic, but yeah, keeping it in their zone definitely helps.
yeah.
But I mean, really hadn't affected the games that much. I mean, we've won 3, they've won 1.
That's right. But real quick, AB, before we continue on with this and preview Game 5, let's take a break and hear from our sponsors. You're listening to Caniac Sessions. The chase for the Stanley Cup is on, and if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. From the start of playoff beards all the way till the hoisting of the cup, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boost, and so much more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/ice for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. All right, AB, we're back.
We are back. Before you get into this, I just saw this on Twitter.
Okay.
So there's the running joke that a lot of people from New York have moved down to Cary, obviously because a
That's
lot
not a
more
joke. That's
jobs.
fact.
Yeah, a lot of jobs have been created down in the Research Triangle area. And somebody said the best combo, which was like the Yankees fan, Knicks, Rangers, Islanders, or Giants. And somebody tweeted the "Wow, I love living in Cary, North Carolina" starter pack. I thought it was funny.
That's good stuff. Oh, man. Yeah. If we do advance, or when we advance, I should say, to round 2 and we play the Rangers, dude, they took over Capital One Arena.
Oh, well, it's a lot. It is closer too.
Right. But I mean, the Igor chants last night, dude,
Yeah.
no, I'm not a fan.
Well, they're not as loud as PNC.
True.
Fans aren't.
That's true. We're just going to do a good job and keep them out.
Yep, pretty much.
So, all right, a couple things to talk about before we do this Game 5 preview. Now, I don't feel like Jake Gensel has been very good so far in this series. Yes, he's got a goal and 3 assists. The goal was the empty net goal in Game 1. Hasn't scored since. Or no, I'm sorry. Game 2 is when he scored the empty net goal. Hasn't scored since. He's got 3 assists, and I guess you could say, yeah, he's a point per game. But I kept waiting for him to show up in Game 4, in overtime or late in the third. Like, this is why we brought you in. I need you to be dangerous. Do you agree with that, or do you think I'm off in left field?
I don't know. I mean, he's been on the ice in all of those big goals. Maybe not assists, and we've talked about, points. Points do matter. I mean, you brought Jay Getzel in to score. But I mean, I think he's fine where he is right now. But do I want to see improvement? Absolutely. I want him to kick it into high gear. But I'm not like super worried right now. But would I like to see like a regulation, like power
Yeah.
play or like 5-on-5 shorthanded, whatever it may be? Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Same.
assists will follow. So I'm not too worked up about it just yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is just maybe the Islanders are just a tough matchup for Carolina. I mean, I've been thinking about this, and and I know I alluded to it earlier, but I feel like this has been a closer series than the 3-1 lead shows.
Mm-hmm.
Game 3, the matchups that Patrick Waugh put out weren't a lot different than they were in Raleigh. And I feel like that game kind of had the same little feel that it did in Raleigh. And then, and if you notice in game 4, he switched up his matchups a little bit, and he was rolling the Horvat, Barzell, Cizikas line out against KK's line, and it was working for the Islanders. Right, the Horvat line was a lot more dangerous in game 4 than they've been at any other point throughout the series. And I kind of wondered why he didn't do that in game 3, but he didn't. So I just think that we are fortunate to be up 3-1. We'll talk about something else too when we do the game 5 preview, but there's an indication at practice this morning that Rod has changed up the lines a little bit. And I think part of that is because how the second line or KK's line for the first 4 games hasn't really played well. Natchez has got to get going. KK is still snake bit. It's, I was hoping that he would, rise above that in the playoffs, a little extra motivation, but man, it's just the same old KK. I mean, it just is. So
your boy KK.
I just wish he would get going, because I mean, if he's playing the top of his game and scoring, I mean, he's not playing bad, don't get me wrong, but we need him to score. I mean, at least he should have at least a goal by now in this series. I mean, he's had plenty of opportunities. He's missed 3 open nets, I believe, in the entire series. Like, come on, man. I need one of those to go. So, Teravainen's been good.
Yeah. I mean, I literally just looked at this. I kind of like Stahl and Jarvis together, and it's kind of weird seeing them on the second line, and then with Teravainen's played really well. So I'm not like really opposed to that, and I think it also with Martinook and Drury and Natchez kind of adds a little bit of Martinook's gritty. It's helps a little bit more. And then Kokaniemi, man, if he doesn't start doing anything in the next like game or two, I say, especially when we play the Rangers, I think you put Brendan Lemieux in.
I mean, yeah, I
I mean,
agree.
KK is like not performing the way he should be, and you're gonna have the giant giraffe start skating around. So I mean, you have to somebody that has a little bit more grit.
Oh,
So
man. I
you
hate
put
Matt
Lemieux in
Rimpey
there.
so much. I
Yeah,
hate
he's
Matt Rimpey.
only reason he's in the league is because he's tall. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we kind of already hit on these lines a little bit at practice today, but before we go and dive into this game 5 preview, I just want to address one thing that's been driving me insane. And
I know,
that's this, huh?
I know what you're talking. I know what you're getting ready to talk about.
Yeah. All right, everyone out there listening to me right now. I'm about to lecture you here real quick. Stop talking about Scott Morrow. Stop it. Scott Morrow does not need to draw in the lineup over Tony DeAngelo. Scott Morrow is an excellent young player. He's got a ton of potential. He's got a future in this league, on this team. The future is not now. A month ago, this kid was playing NCAA hockey. Very well, might I add. But he was playing NCAA hockey. That is not even the AHL. One could argue that the NCAA is equivalent with the ECHL. I mean, look, you don't take a kid that's not Connor Bedard or, one of these like top tier forwards, first overall draft pick, first top 3 pick, whatever. You don't take this guy and throw him, and his first experience in NHL is a playoff series against the New York Islanders. One, he's not ready. He doesn't know this system. 2, if you put him in and he struggles, you're going to shake his confidence. 3, you don't play a brand new player in a series when that is his first taste of the NHL. You're asking for trouble. And what happens if he makes a critical mistake and drops a game that decides the series? Does that screw him up for the rest of his career? I don't know. Does that stunt his development? It's definitely going to shake his confidence. Listen, Tony DeAngelo is a veteran in this league. He's played in the playoffs. He's played, I don't even know how many games he's played, but it's been plenty, right? He's got the experience. Scott Morrow is not the better option over Tony DeAngelo. I don't care how you feel about the player. I don't care about how you feel about his personality or all these other crazy narratives that surround him. If we're talking about on ice play, Tony DeAngelo is your guy, not Scott Morrow. So stop driving me nuts. And you know what, Tony, in the 2 games that he's played, he's been great. I mean, he's been solid defensively. And that's what everybody's like, oh, I'm a fan of defense. Okay, well, he's been fine defensively. So
Stopped a couple of key blocks in the last game.
yeah, he's been fine. Brady Shea is the one that's been struggling. He got beat in front of the net for the game winner in second overtime. He lost 2 battles on that play. If he clears the puck there, then we're not even talking. We might be talking about a series sweep. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think Shea was bad, but he lost 2 battles that led to the game-winning goal. And then people still want to try to talk about Tony. Look, Tony DeAngelo, I've said it all year. He's not been my favorite defenseman. I've said, I think he should have been scratched this year. I think he was our 7th defenseman. That's me being honest. But also me being honest right now, Scott Morrow does not draw in over Tony DeAngelo. That's it. Period. Point blank. I'm done.
Court dismissed.
I had to go on that rant because it's making me mad. Every day I log on to X and I see somebody like, oh, maybe Scott Morrow should draw in. No, guy. Maybe you should go freaking fly a kite somewhere.
I couldn't imagine going into a game. You've only played like 2 regular season games, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into the belly of the beast. Like, no.
Come on.
Not ready. Man. You're not ready. You're not ready. You are not ready for that at all. So if you don't like fans, if we win the Stanley Cup and Tony DeAngelo win it, they will still complain.
Yeah, they will. And, we signed these guys, the Scott Morrows, the Jackson Blakes, the Bradley Nadeaus. We signed these guys so they could be around the team in the locker room during a playoff run. That will be a good thing for them, for their development, for next year, for their careers. Yep. We didn't sign them to play in the playoffs. We signed them so they could be around the team. Mm-hmm. And if, hey, look, if we take some more injuries, then maybe Scott Morrow has to draw in. But I honestly believe Dylan Coghlan is next in line. All right. Enough of that.
Yep.
Unless you have some final thoughts on it.
No, I mean, it's pretty much what you said. I mean, I just ignore it because people they hate Tony DeAngelo for one reason and one reason only. That's
and you know what?
The point.
Real quick, while we're on this subject, did you see there was a clip of of Colorado's most recent game where Alexander Georgiev was jawing with somebody. Was it
it was his team? I think it was Rantanen.
Rantanen? Is that who it was?
I think it was Rantanen.
Yeah, they were jawing back and forth. And that flips the narrative on his head about Georgiev and Tony. I mean, everybody painted Tony as the bad guy. Look, sometimes people need to be punched in the mouth, AB. I mean, I'm a big proponent for that. Like, if we would just like, I need to shut up.
No, I was just stretching. That's it. I was
No,
just
I need to
stretching. That was it.
stop. I need to stop. We're not going down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
I'm just saying, sometimes people need to have their teeth knocked out. That's all. That's it. I'm
That's
done.
true.
If we did that, it'd be a much better society.
Not saying violence is the answer, but
No,
some
it's
people
not.
do. Some people do deserve to get punched in the mouth if they're being stupid.
Oh, okay. Enough of that. All right. Game 5 coming up. AB will be in the house tomorrow night.
Why aren't you going?
Huh?
You're not going?
I said we'll be in the house.
Oh.
In not my house. The
Yeah,
house.
we're gonna be there too. Yep.
We'll be present in the barn when Carolina looks to complete the series win over the Islanders. We got into this a little bit, AB, but practice this morning at PNC Arena. The lines that they rolled out was, the first line was as has been, right? Gensel, Ahos, Svechnikov. Then they had, looks like Drury has gotten the nod at second center, where Kokanyemi has been playing. So KK will go down to the fourth line wing in Drury's old spot. And Drury will center the second line with Martinook and Natchez. That's okay, I guess. I don't know. I'll give you my thoughts on it in a minute. Third line, Stahl's line, centering Teravainen and Jarvis. And then fourth line, Kuznetsov, centering Kotkaniemi and Nason. And then the defensive pairs are the same: Slavin Burns, Shea D'Angelo, then Orlov Chatfield. So just looking at these lines, like I see what he's trying to do here, right? These 4 lines, all 4 of them should be able to score. And all 4 of them should be able to be defensively responsible, right? You've got Jack Drury, who is, an underrated defender. He's a good 200-foot guy. Jordan Martinook, we know what he brings to the forecheck on that second line. And then you got Natchez, who's, got a great shot, offensively gifted, handling the puck. And then Teravainen, Stahl, and Jarvis should be, great defensively, and they should be able to score too. Fourth line, Kuznetsov, Nason, Kotkaniemi. Nason's been on a tear. Kuznetsov, we know what he is. And then KK, he's defensively responsible as well. So I see what they're trying to do here. It doesn't matter what matchup you get. You can roll 4 lines, and you should be able to score and defend no matter who's matched up with who. If you need to, you might be able to swap Teravainen and Martinook throughout the game to put Martinook back with Stahl, and put Teravainen up with Natchez if Martinook's not getting it done offensively. You just never know what Martinook's going to do, man. Sometimes he can come out and be on and score, but I see what the tactic is here. We'll see if it works out or not. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're obviously going to roll with the Stall line to go up first in Game 5. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to stick to that because you have Jarvis there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not like really. I'm not opposed to it. I don't dislike the lines. I think they look fine.
Yeah.
It's just the KK one the KK is bothering me. So I don't know. Maybe you think about drawing Lemieux in if something doesn't happen in Game 5. But I'm pretty confident that the nail's finally going to go in the coffin and the Islanders are going to go home.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah, and then the defensive lines have stayed the same. And then goalie, obviously, roll with Anderson again.
Yeah.
Don't change anything up.
I agree. I think you know what you're going to get with Freddie in this series. You know what he's going to be. So, I think Kochetkov would be fine, but you don't know for sure what you're going to get because he's been out for a while. So I think Freddie's I think Freddie, you got to go back to him. If you lose Game 5, then maybe you go Kochetkov. If Freddie comes in and has a bad game, maybe you go Kochetkov. But I don't think Freddie's had a quote unquote bad game yet in this series. I think he's been solid in each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it hadn't been his fault.
no, it hadn't. Mm-mm. So keys to the game. My keys to the game, what I've come up with here. If they do these things, I believe they will get the win and close out the series and shake hands and go home. They've got to win faceoffs. They've got to win the faceoff battle. They've got to win faceoffs in key moments. The power play needs to stay hot, right? When you get the opportunity, you need to convert and you need to win the special teams battle. Through 4 games, we're pretty much drawing even with the Islanders and special teams, which is unacceptable to me given their, their statistics coming into the game or into the series. Um, Carolina is currently 4 of 14 on the power play this series, which is good for 28.6%, which kind of matches what we were in the regular season. That's a good number. Of course, 2 of those came in a game 4 loss. So that doesn't tell the whole story. But for the most part, the power play has been solid. It could be better if they quit having to chase the puck, if they would win these power play faceoffs in the offensive zone and quit having to chase the puck 200 feet. And then, the Islanders have been done a good job breaking up our injuries on the, especially on the power play. And I think the penalty kill needs to be better. The Islanders power play is at 2 for 7 in the series, which is also 28.6%. It's crazy to me that we've gotten double the power play opportunities so far, but if a lot of that is game 2 where we had so much offensive zone possession time, we were just forcing the Islanders to commit penalties because that's the only way they could beat us. So the inverse of that, Carolina's penalty kill is operating at a 71.4% so far in this series, which is that's not good enough.
Yeah, small sample size though.
It is. You're right, but
it's only going to get better.
Well, right, but game 4, if we'd have killed that power play and Pajot wouldn't have scored on that power play to start the third period, we'd have won that game. So special teams can make a difference, and I don't feel like we're winning the overall battle right now, other than the fact that we've gotten more chances. So I think I think that needs to be better, and then we've got to play better 5-on-5.
Yeah,
5-on-5. I wouldn't say it's been bad, but it has not been better than the Islanders. The only time that it's been better is game 2 in the second half of the game. Other than that, it's been even at best. So, win 5-on-5, match their special teams at least, and let's get on to the Rangers. I'll give you the final thoughts here.
I would say keep it in their zone as much as you can. Apply pressure first. If you score first and keep that going, the pressure is going to be on them to try and be super careful. And, if they're down, they're going to be on their heels the whole game. So probably score first, get out in front, put more shots on goal when there's a net front. Be prepared to in the defensive zone to force turnovers to lead to transition offense. That'd be a big one. And stay out of the box.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I got.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully next time you hear from us, it will be after a series win, 4-1 for the Carolina Hurricanes. And then we can sit around for a while and watch these other series, finish up, and then we can get on to the Rangers. So looking forward to it. AB, I will see you at the arena tomorrow night. Maybe since we're not sitting together anymore in the same section, maybe we'll have to meet up at the first intermission and have a beer or something.
Yep, we'll do it. We'll do
We'll
it.
do it. All right. All right, AB, take us out, buddy.
Thank you so much for listening and watching session 40 of Caniac Sessions. If you haven't, please follow us on X, Instagram, and Facebook at Caniac Sessions. You can watch us on YouTube at Caniac Sessions, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from. Caniac Sessions, same thing. Like, review it, follow us to receive more news about the Hurricanes and when we drop an episode. And you can follow Griff on X at M_Griff10, and you can follow me on X at AB Caniac Session. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in session 41.
Bye.